All right, we're back. Oh, I had a burp. Sorry about that. Welcome back to BRAP. Greatness is back, and I'm not talking about PlayStation 5. I'm talking about BRAP back in the house this lovely Wednesday night. It's snowing here at the DMV again, and I hate snow. I'm ready to move to South Florida with my man Eric Jackson. I think I'm going to move in with him. He doesn't know it yet. But, yeah, welcome back to BRAP, everyone. We have a great show scheduled. We have some great topics to talk about. We are going to talk about why we think EA will eventually will cancel Anthem this week. That's on the chopping block this week for EA. And we're also going to talk about the new Black Myth Wukong trailer. We're going to give our impressions of that new trailer. I believe it's a second trailer for that upcoming game. And then we have some other topics we're diving into as well. But let's officially get the show started right now. Hi, welcome back. It's BRAP. Excited to be here. Got lots of great topics. What's up, everyone?
Hey, Ricky, has Digital Foundry done an analysis on your intro?
No, but I believe that's next on their to-do list, actually. And then they're gonna do a frame by frame, freeze frame by frame screenshot of my intro, and analyze the volumetric lighting and the frames per seconds.
Yeah, like I said, right about here, it drops to about 10 frames per second. But other than that, it's pretty steady.
And 4K! Boy, I tell you, Richard gets so excited when they hit 4K in a game. And here we are. We got 4K! Anyhow. Big shout out to Digital Foundry, though. We did have John. Not John. John on. John Linneman on a couple months ago. So I think that was back in May, actually. If I'm not mistaken. That was actually a great show. So big shout out to John. Big shout out to the folks at Digital Foundry. But anyhow, we've got a great show for you all tonight. We have some returning guests. First, I want to give a big shout out to my man, the Gaming Forte, who couldn't make it tonight because he is getting ready for the big move to the Casa de Forte. So, Forte, if you're listening, man, I feel your pain, man. I made that move a couple years ago in the house I'm in now, and moving is a pain in the ass. It really is.
So, kind of like Forte Manor.
Yeah, Forte Manor, right? Yeah, Forte's Boom Boom Room.
Here's a little hint: if you're a comic book collector, switch to short boxes, because long boxes, especially if you're moving especially if you're moving. Yeah. Oh God, it is. I had an apartment that was on the third floor that had no elevator. Yeah, not fun at all. I don't think my family has forgiven me since. So
yeah, short boxes, that's where it's at. For real.
Yeah, but so on that note, that we have Jeremy joining us from PlayStation. Can I say that? Can I let everyone know that you are a PlayStation representative? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I represent. I work for PlayStation, but the views and opinion are my own. So it's all good. It's all good.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So we got Jeremy back from PlayStation Nation. So welcome back, Jeremy. Appreciate you coming back on the show, man.
Thank you for having me. Having me.
Absolutely. We have the man with the Pulp Fiction avatar, which I love. We have One Bad Mother, or OBM, as he's known in the gaming streets. What's up, OBM?
What's up, man? Happy to be back on. And I guess I don't represent anybody. I was found on Xbox Live, and here I am.
Yeah, actually, you were found on Xbox Live. I think we met playing Unreal Championship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, about 2 decades ago.
Yes, really about 2 decades ago, which is kind of funny. We're getting old, OBM. But OBM, you got some big shoes to fill today because you were filling in for Mr. Gaming Forte, who's like we said, getting ready for a big move. But anyhow, and then we'll have Slobo Backslap joining us. I think sometime soon, hopefully. But we also got B Money 21. What's up, B?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. NBA 2K is on sale, and I'm not buying it yet.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah,
It's all good.
It's on sale. What's it on sale for?
it's on sale at is it GameStop? Most retailers, I don't remember.
Oh, it's not digital right now.
No, I don't think it's digital, right, B?
No.
I think it's like $30 for the physical copy, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, I thought about buying it, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to embarrass B money just yet.
It's all right, man. You only got a couple more months, man, and then I'll be playing MLB The Show. So
Well, that's how I'll go to MLB show. You'll be my friend, Mr. Juan Soto.
yeah.
On Xbox? No, just kidding.
Bruno, come on. Come on.
That's jokes.
Come on. Right, yeah, Eric, just jokes. I feel like we got to do like a screen cap. He's just joking. Calm down. Yeah, but I will be playing. I'm actually probably getting the PlayStation version of the game because I would imagine they're probably incorporating some of the features of the DualSense. I would imagine.
Yeah, they have. I think they have. I don't think they've done the reveal yet on how they plan on using it, but the mind reels at the possibilities of what they can do with that. Or feeling the crack of the bat. On,
right.
Just through the triggers and I'm excited, and I don't even play baseball like that. So
yeah, that's
And I
actually pretty
think
cool.
their first like gameplay reveal stuff is actually tomorrow. So if you're interested, definitely check that out.
Yeah, definitely got to check that out. I will be on MLB The Show. It'll be my first time playing the game in, oh my God, a long time, probably 7 years.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's been a minute.
How come you haven't bought it like the other years it was available?
I don't know, man. Just I think when I picked it up last, I just didn't play it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's also pretty. It's really it's not just a pick up the bat and swing and hit the ball type game.
No, and that's what's good about it. It does take some work to get
it's a
into it.
sim. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, and I just. Yeah, I think part of it was for me is just like I didn't want to put the time to learn it, and my gamer ADD kicked in. I was like, okay, I don't want to play this anymore. That was it. That was it. But I am interested now because I guess the timing of this release is kind of newer to the generation, so I don't think there's going to be a ton of games that really kind of pull my attention away. So I think I'll probably actually put some time into it. And now that my kids are older too, I think this might be a game they might be interested in. Like my 11-year-old, my 6-year-old might actually dig this game. So we'll see. But anyhow, so B, I'll probably see you in the Diamond, sir.
all right, man. I'll be there.
Yeah, we could do a little live stream.
Oh no, that would be fun.
Yeah, we could do that. Just take it easy on me, man.
No promises.
I might have to be the Dodgers because their rotation is stacked right now.
Yeah,
Everybody tweet at Enrique all the excuses he's going to come up with to duck money.
I definitely want to be on the show that he comes back humble.
Shit, you might be playing my 11-year-old B money, not even know it.
Enrique's like, if he wins, he's like, that was all me.
That was all me.
That was all me.
That was all me. That home run, that was me. Anyways, no, we got Eric Jackson. Everybody, what's up, Eric?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Good night. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Halfway through the week.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
yeah, it is hump day. Yeah, it's crazy. Tomorrow's Thursday. It's wild. Yeah, the time is flying by. Before we know it, it'll be springtime, and I'm looking forward to spring because I'm just tired of the cold weather and tired of the snow. Tired of it. So, anyhow, want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Go ahead and do us a favor. Smash the like button. Hit the like button. And please retweet the link that I'm going to drop in the live chat right now. Tweet it out. Let everyone know that we are live. So we got Dark Optimus in the house who was with us last week. What's up, Dark? Life will find a way. It's great to see you in the live chat, sir. All right. So first order of business here. And my mind's drawn to blank.
Somebody take the wheel.
I mean, it's not like we're doing a podcast or anything.
I know, right? My mind went blank. My mind went totally blank.
Good night, everybody. All right.
Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah. All right. So did you guys all see the new Wukong trailer? Wukong.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I gotta say,
I got you all in check.
right? That's funny. Yeah, so new Black Myth Wukong trailer came out. And I don't know. I liked it. I like it. I like the first one. I think the first trailer was actually like our first glimpse into like what like next gen will look like.
Mhm.
And I like this trailer because you saw some of the bosses, which were pretty big, kind of that Souls-esque type of boss, big boss, But what did you guys think? Like, did this new trailer get you guys more hyped for this game, or are you kind of like, oh, okay, it's just more of the same, whatever. I'm gonna go to you, Jeremy, Mr. PlayStation.
When I that it surprised me just because of how like it came out of nowhere when they did that first reveal. It came out of nowhere. No one expected, no one saw it. And I was just so freaking impressed by what they showed. And then this new trailer drops, and that looks right up my alley. It looks, the graphics look amazing. The combat doesn't look like it doesn't strike me as hardcore Dark Souls. So, it seems like something with a dodge, a parry, and a slash. I think I can do this. I think, I think I'll be throwing my controller. It looks gorgeous. And for something that has been so like quiet, that there isn't a big name behind it. But it looks amazing. So
Corey, I don't know if anybody's mentioned this to you before, but Sekiro has all the same stuff.
Basically, yeah.
and that's no more accessible than Bloodborne, for sure.
I don't know, because the thing is, when I was thinking about it, and I was just looking up some information on it, and they're calling it a Souls-like game, and I'm thinking to myself is what. So are all third-person hack and slash is now going to be called Souls-like? And it's just like, why don't we call it Ninja Gaiden-like? Something. It's just.
Yeah. I know, but guys, look at this intro here though. Like this, like watching this intro, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this game looks badass, right? A little bit of Tomb Raider vibes, right?
From a team of 40 people right now, I think they're around 40 people.
Yeah, around 40 people. Yeah. I mean, this game's definitely, piqued my interest. I mean, and I see the Souls reference here, like the Souls reference. I get that.
The thing though that I like about it is that unlike the dark oppressiveness that seems to typify a lot of Souls games, I mean, you're talking about big, bright, environment and stuff like that. Yeah, it takes definitely more of an earth tone look to it, but it's not like they're evil demons trying to suck my soul or something. It's just it looks like a very different style, and the very Asian influence is very evident, and it looks so good.
Yeah, like look at this boss battle here, and like I guess that's like a giant rat. I'm like, I'm not gonna put pudding on my face, by the way, like David Jaffe did watching this video. But yeah, like that boss there, like that. Look, I guess it's like a big rat or something.
Yeah, no, visually and artistically, the thing just blows you away. I'll tell you
like
though,
the particle effects are like awesome. Look at that, like when he blocks that boss or whatever there.
Yep.
Go ahead, Obi. Finish it up, man.
No. What I was going to say, artistically, graphically, all of that looks incredibly impressive. And if it plays as well as it looks, it could be, something special. But as somebody who is a big Soulsborne fan, like Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne are two of my top 5 games of last generation. I put Dark Souls probably top 5 of my all time. The thing that I do enter these kind of cautious though, because when it comes to the gameplay, like what makes these things good or just mediocre, it's such a fine line. And I really don't think anybody outside of Miyazaki, except for maybe a Neo, that might be the only one that's even come close. And even that one, and even that one, it isn't up to that par. But that's the only one I feel like it can even can make a case that it's really been a top tier game trying to follow that kind of formula. There's been a lot of them that I've been excited about last generation. They didn't look this good, but there was always something about the game balancing or the gameplay that was just never just right. I don't know if that makes sense, but like if you played, God, I can't. They're all so forgettable. They all just kind of run together. They all look, there's been a bunch of knockouts, and I don't think anybody else has really hit it out. So, but yeah, in terms of the graphics and the art, I was really impressed, and I think that kind of almost brings us to like another topic. So I won't go on to that yet. But just seeing like a developer that's somewhere else in the world that we never heard of, that only has 40 people, just deliver something that looks like this, is really something else. And I guess that just gets you kind of excited about the potential coming up in this generation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of speaks to what you were saying, OBM, about these smaller teams getting better resources, better tools, where they can kind of make these types of games, right? Because typically we would see something like this in previous generations from like bigger studios, may have a larger budget, right? But now we're seeing it from smaller teams. Like I forget the game with the guy that had like the one-man developer, but he's brought in like contractors help out. I forget what game that is.
Lost Soul Aside.
Is that what it's called? B-Money?
Yeah, Lost Soul Aside.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Are you talking about Bright Infinite?
Oh, yeah, Bright Infinite too. Yeah,
Bright Infinite.
Yeah.
So, so I'm excited. Like like we saw, not to kind of deviate, we saw what Unreal Engine 5 can do with the what's it called? What they showed today? I forget what it was called. The facial stuff. Damn it! What is it?
I'm about to look it up. I sent you.
Yeah, because I know we're talking about it. Like I think B was like, yeah, watch out, watch Tencent's going to make like AAA, like quality games on mobile, right? B Money.
Yeah, I mean, we got to remember that Tencent is heavily invested in Epic, just as well, and we know what Tencent is about, man, and we see what Genshin Impact did in a matter of months. You know what I mean? So you take what Unreal Engine 5 is supposed to be. You turn that on its head, you know what I mean? Let Tencent throw all the money behind it. We're gonna see a lot more AAA mobile games coming up real soon.
Well, we already saw that one. Did you guys see that game by Sakaguchi? And I know it was just like a bunch of still backgrounds and stuff. But regardless of it, just the fact
wait, can we say the great Sakaguchi-san, because that dude is an icon.
Yeah, the creator of Lost Odyssey and Final Fantasy. Yeah, he's making a mobile game, and I was like, when I heard he was making a mobile game, I'm like, oh, what a waste. And then I looked at it.
Did you see that?
Yeah, it's just, and I get it. Like it's doing some tricks that that you would, it's not running a full 3D interactive environment, but still, like some of those environments in the background.
Oh my God, it looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks crazy still, and you would have never thought of seeing that. And I think that's the thing. Like a lot of people are kind of missing the forest right now. Like when you start talking about, and I know you're joking about that early on, about the freeze frame analysis and stuff. The real power, like in this generation, if anybody's like spending time kind of looking at it, is coming down to the tools and things like that these developers are working with. And I told you before, I think on a previous show, that I heard from a developer that small teams are going to be making stuff that's going to look more AAA than what the big teams did last generation. So, and a lot of that has to do with just now they can automate some of the tasks. There's just there's a lot of things built into these engines where I was told by a developer that in the past, like as an independent, it would have cost him. He could have never had afforded some of the features, like some of the tools were available, but like something like photogrammetry would have been way too expensive for him. But now that it's thrown in Unreal and it's free, now all of a sudden they got access to creating these photorealistic environments. And so you're going to start seeing, teams of 20 people, 40 people. And then you couple that with like this crazy investment because all these companies are coming in here trying to get a piece of it, and there's only so many AAA developers left, and only so many publishers are going to be willing to sell, and then all that's going to start to basically they're going to be looking for new talent, which is you're seeing a lot of really credible, talented people leaving big studios and starting up their own because they know there's opportunity right now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that's one of the things that I miss from. As much as I love the games on the PS4, Xbox One generation, they didn't have much. There was you had the indie space, AAA
Yep.
space, and there was very little in between. And that's something that I missed from the PS3 360 days. Like back when I worked at GameStop, there were a couple of titles that definitely were not considered AAA, but they were those types of games that went under people's radars that I would always recommend to people just because I wanted them to, just to get some love, like, they weren't perfect, but it showed a lot of potential. Like, Split Second was always, a racing game that I always did. There was that, Shadow of the Damned, stuff like that were always games that I would recommend, and that didn't exist in the last generation of games. So.
No, you're actually hitting like the thing that is like always my hot button, my hot button thing, and what I'm really excited about this generation is, like, and when I talk about the tools, it's really because it brings back that middle class of the game developers, and like for all of us that are like old school guys, like I came to the OG Xbox from the PC, where there was like BioWare and Bethesda, at those times were just like, they were. I don't want to say they were relevant because they were popular there, but they didn't have like mega budgets back then, right? Like, and then you saw them just kind of like over time come in and fill in that middle class on the console, and then, now they started with Knights of the Republic, but you kind of saw them grow, right? And without that middle area for developers to be able to go through, there really wasn't room for like the next wave of AAA devs to grow, the last generation. And so I think now that you can see a path for them to go from indie to AA, do things like From Software did, like go from being like a middle tier developer to now you probably would rank them as one of the top developers in the entire industry, right? So like I think these are some of the things you'll start to see.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm gonna go to B Money and Eric. What did you guys think of this trailer? Because I think both of you all were the two of you were very high on the initial trailer that we saw a couple months ago.
Yeah, you want to go ahead, B?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm definitely high in the game. I definitely think it's a ways off. We kind of had a quick talk about that. But no, from what I've seen, definitely seems like a game that's up my alley. I'm definitely hoping that it's not trying to chase like the traditional like Dark Souls, Soulsborne type thing.
Great point.
Maybe fall somewhere in between like a traditional hack and slash and the Dark Souls thing. Like, you could have some skill levels or whatever the case may be. And just looking at this, I don't necessarily know if it's definitely completely like gameplay or, kind of what we're seeing. Cause like there was no like lock on type thing or anything like that. So, but no, they're speaking my language, man. They got like all the things that I like, Journey to the West, crazy creatures. Yeah. So the combat looks visceral. You have transformations, all kind of different stuff. So it looks dope, man.
It does.
If they deliver on it, man, they could have a real hit on their hands.
Yeah. Go ahead, B.
That's the big thing for me. It just looks different. I mean, it's not something that we typically get. And when they showed it initially, and you're flying around as like the little bee or beetle, whatever the hell you were, and he transforms, and then starts going into battle, and then you see like the big monsters, and it looks like super crazy, and it's just something different from what we normally get. So that's why I think it like raised a lot of eyebrows when we first saw it. And this trailer, it looks really good too. I love the different the creatures that we've seen so far. It reminds me a lot of like Biomutant. Like when first saw Biomutant, I was like, yo, this game looks like it would be crazy. If they execute on it. Just because it's something different. Like you're a kung fu like little rat or whatever. And you're going around just beating up like
you're like a young Splinter.
Big creatures and stuff. It's just something different. And I feel like we kind of need like that palate cleanse of like different games. I feel like this last couple of years we kind of been getting the same type of games. They all been kind of like cookie cutter. It's different developers, but they all kind of feel the same at the end of the day. So when you see something new like that and it really makes your eyes pop, you get excited about it. And I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's really good points. Yeah,
that's a great point, B, about that palate cleanse, because there's something interesting coming out of China. Like there was another game that I think Slow-Mo shared in the BRAP DM that was out of China. Do you remember that? Oh God, I don't remember the game, but it almost sounded like the person was like a mech or something, or not a mech, but like a cyborg. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back.
Are you talking about the one with the female character?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the female.
Yeah. That one looks crazy too. That whole like China movement over there, like when they were doing the China Joy like stuff project, the China Joy project. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of China, and I think over the next 5 years we'll see a lot of those small developers, those 40-man teams, 50-man teams put out excellent games that are going to be just as high caliber as stuff that we see from 300 or 400, teams. So
yeah, no, I agree, and I think I keep thinking about the point you made about the palate cleansing, and that's so like I think one of the frustrations I've had with games coming out of development studios is that obviously the studios are, I don't want to say they're copying, but there's a lot of like influence, right?
Right.
People tend to go with like what works, right? And
data-driven art.
yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, like there's a familiarity to like the art style, right? And this is kind of like B said, just getting away from that, and it's like it's something new, it's fresh, and I like that. And God, I'm trying to find this DM that Slow-Mo put into, and I wish he was here. That Slow-Mo put in the BRAP DM with the game about the lady that B Money just mentioned. But that game, that trailer looked incredible. And God, I'm trying to figure out, trying to find this.
Well, one of the reasons why, and if you even think back to like why Japanese games are so popular in the United States, is like initially that was something that we just weren't used to. Like
it's a great point.
Yeah, their culture, their art, like the mythologies, a lot of that stuff's based off of. It's stuff that we've never been exposed to. So like when you visit this, it's like, hey, I'm going to a whole new world. And so I think that's the other thing that's pretty exciting is seeing these other countries, other cultures getting involved into like AAA development. It's going to bring styles that may be familiar to them, but to us, it's just going to be like, wow, this is crazy. Because I think this is actually based off of some actual mythology. I think I can't remember what the specifics on it were, but it's based on some Chinese mythology. But basically there's some source material to it. But to us, like this is just like I'm watching the first video right now. It's like crazy. It's like this is stuff you haven't seen before, and I think like a lot of times with our Western developers or even the Eastern ones too, when they're going to be having these big projects, they figured out what sells and they kind of stay within that. And so this might be a way to start bringing in some people taking chances and giving us some diversity in the art. And I think that is important, is to see it not just in gameplay but in the art style.
Yeah, that was a great point about the about Japanese games. I remember early on in gaming, I think part of the allure of Japanese titles was that it was different, right? It was a different culture. You got a different type of art style than you would in like Western type games, right? And that even and to me that's still kind of the appeal too with some of the games that are coming out of Japan still. That you still get that, although you see probably I think probably a little more Western influence now and maybe design with some Japanese games than you did previously, but yeah, I mean that's that's a great point. I mean it's just a level of freshness that's coming out of China, but I just keep seeing these trailers and I'm still trying to find this trailer of the game that Slow-Mo put in there and I can't find it. But that game, I just remember watching the trailer and being like, holy shit, this looks amazing. And to what B said, the game that they put out, I forget the name of the game, the free-to-play game. What's it called? Jesus. Thank you, man. I'm trying. Yeah, my mind is. What?
You all right?
Man, long day at work, man. Long day at work. Yeah, I was
drinking that Tamana tequila, man.
All right. Yeah. Actually, I was people don't know that I was trying out for the part of Joel. Apparently, they're looking at Latinos to play Joel too. But my brain's fried. I mean, I was looking at Excel spreadsheets a lot today, and Excel's not my bag. So.
All running together, huh?
Yeah,
oh my God! Yeah.
Project DT. So shout out to who was that who just put it in the chat?
Project DT. Yes.
Yeah. No. Project DT is the game we're referencing.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I want to look that up now, real quick, because I want to show this trailer. This trailer was badass.
I was going to say Excel spreadsheets on top of a diet, right?
yeah, that too.
And that tequila kicks in a lot faster when you're on a diet, by the way. I forgot to tell you that.
Right? Oh my God. Hold on a sec here. I want to see if I can pull this up. Oh no, hold on.
Forte is trying to give you some advice.
What did Forte say? What's Forte talking about?
So look at your YouTube watch history.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Forte. Right? The obvious thing to do. I'll tell you, my mind is just fried today. All right, let's go to this trailer real quick. Because this was badass. I mean, look at this. Like, even when I saw this part here, I was like, what? What is this? Yeah, see, this looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
Look at that. I'm putting pudding on my face like David Jaffe right now. Next time I get David Jaffe on BRAP, I got to ask him what he was doing. Look at this combat, though. Like, how, like, the rapid hit. See that?
Oh, yeah, I saw this. This looks fun to play, too.
Yeah, this looks, more along the lines of like a Devil May Cry.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, with the combos.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great point, B.
But
Yeah, like this large mech.
Taking the formula and spinning it a little bit.
Yep.
Now she fighting a Metal Gear Rex. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? Metal Gear Rex.
It's not like Konami's doing anything with that franchise, so.
Yeah, right?
Nope. Konami's not doing anything with anything, yeah.
It's like a sore spot for everybody.
I don't know. I love the particle effects. That's always my thing, particle effects for some reason.
Yeah, Konami's not doing a whole lot with any of their key core awesome franchises.
Yeah, they're just sitting on stuff. And it's a shame too. So let me ask you something, Jeremy. Is a Silent Hill thing? Is that have you heard anything about that?
No, I have not heard anything. The rumors just keep so many rumors, and no one's willing to pull any sort of triggers in saying whether or not they're real or not. So I gotta check that out. Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm hearing that we could see that. So I don't know. Anyhow, so this game looks awesome too, coming out of China.
So your Chinese Devil May Cry and Chinese Sekiro.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. All right.
And watch attack of that Wukong is actually just the reskin of Journey. What was that? The Enslaved game from that Ninja Theory did. That's all it is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So we got some E3 news.
No, we don't.
Yeah. What's that? What's that?
No, we don't.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we don't. Yeah. So E3 2021 may be a digital event. The ESA saying it's transforming the gaming showcase. Look, they're saying it's happening this year, and it could be going digital. I think that's probably what's going to happen because of the whole 19 affair. I don't think we're getting to a point where, and who knows? Maybe we do. Maybe there'll be like limited attendance, people with limited attendance. I don't know. But they are going to try to do a digital event, nevertheless. And I don't know, guys. Like,
well, the good thing
I don't know how this is going to work. But go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
No, the good thing is that last year was definitely a learning curve. Now that they've seen what has been done or what's been happening, and how to pull this off, maybe we will have a really good E3 show that, filled with the spectacle, but in digital form, maybe. The big thing that I get tired of from, especially last year as they were doing these conventions and shows, was that everyone was just doing, and props to Jeff Keighley and everything, but you have the time, you have the budget, just cut something, edit something, and make it look spectacular. None of this talking heads waiting for the satellite uplink to, talking over people. None of that stuff. Just give us a really good, edited, spectacular showcase. That's all I want.
Is the games of summer still happening? Because I feel like they never ended. I mean, right? Did you guys catch it? Because I feel like I missed a bunch of the games of summer showcase or whatever it was.
Yeah, they're just running it. They're running into each other like. They run into each other like Michigan winners now.
Oh wow! Come on!
It just keeps going, and then you think it's over. You get to put on your bathing suit for a week, and then you get ready for winter again.
Hey, I'm telling you, the Lions are going to be Super Bowl champs in 2 years. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, good Lord! I'm glad you had some. God, somebody needs some enthusiasm for my teams over here, man. That's why I have a lot more time for gaming because you can see every single team in Detroit here is trash. So.
Oh my gosh, man!
We've been all of our teams have been in rebuilding years for a couple of years now.
Hey, I know the feeling. I'm here in the DMV, so I feel you. Well, I shouldn't say that because the Nats won the World Series in 19, Caps won the Cup in 18, and the Ravens have been pretty consistent. So.
We'll take even a little bit of that. But right.
Yeah. But here's the kicker of the E3 thing though. All right. They still need to get approval from the members of the ESA. And we know that Sony skipped the event last year. You got to imagine that Sony's probably not going to take, and I don't know if you would know this, Jeremy, but that Sony was supposed to do kind of their own thing, right? They're supposed to hit multiple, I guess, events. Do you know what were they supposed to do? Like the PlayStation Experience events, like across the U.S. Was that kind of the plan? Do you know?
Yeah, it wasn't going to be the PlayStation Experience, but we were going to leverage all of the smaller conventions. We were supposed to. Yeah, it was definitely going to be a much bigger thing with hands-on much more frequently, and with just being at as many shows as possible to show it all off. And obviously that just did not happen. So
yeah, right.
All things considered, we did well in terms of sales numbers despite it all. But yeah, it did not happen the way it was intended.
Yeah, so that's kind of the biggest thing. It's that they need to still get approval from the ESA membership, which Sony is a part of. I don't think Sony's going to do anything like that. And then I wonder if, even if they do this, is this something that Jeff Keighley's going to get on board with? I mean, he did Summer Game Fest last year. Is he going to do that again? I would imagine he probably would.
He already announced that.
Oh, you already did. That's right. You're right. He already did. That's right. Yeah. So he's not going to be
praying that this thing just collapses because that's good for him, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, B, what do you think, man? Like, would you be excited for like a digital E3 event?
Who's going to be there?
Well, that's a great question.
Nobody. That's the problem.
Well, Microsoft's going to be there. They're not nobody.
No, they won't.
Well, they were going to be there last year.
And they're going to host one show, and that's going to be the only person that's there.
So you don't think Microsoft will be there?
Why would they be there? They can do their own show.
They already said they're doing 3, so yeah, I don't know how well.
It's a digital show, so at the point, like for them to have a large presence there, they might show Halo because that's going to be like their biggest game of the holiday season.
Yeah,
but like, what would be the point of having a large presence at E3? There's no reason to do that. It's a digital show. It's different if you got people there and people are getting hands-on with your product.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you're touching the media and things like that. But if it's all digital, there's no reason to do that.
So maybe the better question for you, B, is is E3, is this going to even happen then? Because you're right. I mean, that's a great point. Like, who if it's an all digital event, like you said, they're really
so
there's
like
no incentive.
Yeah, you might get a couple people who announce big games there. It's going to be a jacked up mess, just like it was last year. I don't care if the ESA is hosting it or not. It's going to be the same thing. It's a digital event, so it's going to be cut trailers with people talking after the trailer, telling you all about their game, and then they move on to the next one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Same thing we got.
Yeah, it's going to be the same exact thing that we got last year. It's just going to be hosted by ESA, and it's going to be part of E3. It's the same exact thing. So for me, there's no reason for me to get excited about it. I just hope that whatever we get is just more condensed. All the information comes out in a timely fashion, and we get some cool announcements. But like, if you look back at just look back at all of last year's announcements, I mean, there was nothing that was super crazy, and I don't assume there to be anything super crazy now, just because everybody's been under these crazy work conditions. So like, yeah, they might have a couple like cool trailers to show us at E3, but other than that, man, everything's got pushed back anyway. So it's like this year, there's no reason for me to be super excited about E3.
And the other thing too is like, it's not like people had already started bailing on E3 before COVID. Right. So it's like,
it's like a great point.
No, because I said this like last night on Gaming Perspective. I said the ESA, the whole E3 thing, they're like a guy that broke up with a girl, right? In like the worst way, just kind of like dropped or whatever. Then calls her later, and he's like, "Look, I know you've had some time to think about the mistake that you made, but I'm willing to forgive you." It's like you guys did all this stuff, like you leaked like people's information. You did all this stuff that already started like adding to your demise, and now you're like, "Hey, yo, we're back. We're gonna do a digital event, and we welcome you all back." It's like nobody's looking for you. Right.
The ESA is gaslighting us.
Yeah, it's like
gaslighting us. It's great.
It's like the guy that comes to the party, guys, I'm here, and everybody looks at each other like, "Who's this?
Who's this? Why are you here?"
Who let him know?
Who gave you my number? People are already doing their own events, and they can continue doing that in the digital age. You're not offering them anything.
That's a great point. Well, let me ask you guys.
Then you're putting a 6-figure price tag on it. It's like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I'm sorry, Enrique.
Well, I want to ask E real quick. So, so do you think that this is because you brought up a great point? Like the decline of E3 didn't happen because of the 19. Right, like that. Like we know this. We know that Sony pulled out. Nintendo's been out of the game.
They're already done. They already broke up with him. And then they already broke up with him and moved in with Jeff Keighley.
Exactly. So do you think that the 19 is pretty much just the final blow to E3 then, or do you think post 19 that once people could safely go back to going to events, that maybe they have an opportunity to kind of resuscitate the show? Hello?
Who were you asking that to?
I was asking you, E.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go repeat that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was saying, you talked about the decline, pre-19, and then I was asking you, post-19, if they get, assuming they can get people back into the building and everything's in person. Do you think that they have an opportunity to kind of resuscitate the show then at that point, if it's in person?
No.
You still don't think so?
No, because they pissed a lot of people off, and they never made good on it. They never actually apologized for it. They never actually fixed it. So most people were like, "You can keep going to hell. Like we'd rather deal with the summer game mess again than to really come running back." And you saw that it's evident, and when they tweeted that, people goofed on them. The one thing people did say, though, is they don't want to have a scatterbrain again. They like somebody. They didn't really name who. They just said they like something more condensed. But they didn't say they wanted with the ESA and E3.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. In terms of the ESA, I think they pissed off so many people there's nobody that really is just hoping they get back together.
Right.
You know, that was like more. This is more like you know, like that girl that you break up with and then you see her again 2 years later. Like, whew, I dodged a big one. But anyways,
Oh my God.
Right, or OBM is like, you know, you're like, well, I brought you to our favorite restaurant so we can talk to that. It's like, I never came here with you before.
Yeah, it's not my favorite
I don't know what other
restaurant.
chick you brought here, but it wasn't me.
it's not
It
you,
wasn't
it's
me.
Sorry. Anyways, but I do think that there is going to be aside from that, like, so aside from the ESA, which I think they might just be they might be shit out of luck with this, but in terms of everybody else, I do think that once we can get back into, you know, going to sporting events, and people are going to want some sense of normalcy. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I almost feel like nostalgia's kind of been on the uprise lately. That people just they really want some of that, some of those just memories of things of like when life wasn't so like effed up, right? And so I do wonder if there is an opportunity for somebody to step in. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but we've even heard from the community, like, you know, having a place where gamers can, you know, maybe meet up, and then also just a place that kind of brings that energy. Because the one thing that happens, as much as I would like to continue to get news throughout the year, I think there's going to be enough developers, and just like we were talking about earlier, there's going to be enough stuff that you can probably fill up more, like everybody can fill up more shows throughout a year. But just something that kind of brings everybody together with that energy. And I don't know if the Game Awards kind of filled that spot a little bit, but it brought a little taste of that. But I don't know if that's ever going to be the right spot for all of it, just because they're focused on other things too. So I don't know, but I do think there's an opportunity. I don't know who steps in. I don't think Keighley should be having every one of them. That's my opinion.
You think Keeley's biased towards Xbox is what you're saying?
No.
The thing is that there's anybody else who's stepping up to the plate.
That's true.
That's a good point.
We've got G4 coming back, so
We do have G4.
That may be a place that may be a new showcase for them.
Right.
That could be, yeah.
IGN tried too, though. IGN kind of threw their hat to the ring.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Over too. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be like forming Voltron. Maybe they'll all come together on.
Yeah.
And I'll form the head.
You know.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, actually, real quick, gentlemen, I want to get these super chats real quick because we have a special super chat for our guest Jeremy here. We have Mr. Gaming Forte with the $5 super chat. Says incoming slander. One of your guests is no longer my friend since I transferred. I can't even talk. Sorry. Since I transferred stores, no calls, visits, nothing at all. All love, just disappointed. Wow.
It just happened this week. Jeez, I'm on vacation. I don't, you know.
So Forte took you out for a steak dinner and you never called him again.
Oh man.
Right.
No, I'll get him after.
Yeah. Want to get the super chat from say I can never pronounce this. Saydu.com with the $3 super chat says nothing will top 2016's PlayStation E3 presentation. That was a good one.
I think one day we'll
I'm sure
we'll have something that destroys that, but you know what I mean.
That was a good one though.
Yeah, there's nothing touching that.
Yeah, that was the one where it was just like banger after banger after banger, right?
Yeah.
They had like the Viking ship or the whatever it was, the live band or something playing for Gears.
The
orchestra, yes.
Yeah.
And there was like Sean Layden saying, "Hi, we're PlayStation," and that was it.
Yep, walk right off.
Oh my god, that was such a good E3. Like that was like that's why. Wow. Okay, don't let me get on my Sony pedestal here.
No, please go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think take that and get that. Who let the pony out of the stable? I do want to give. I wasn't trying to come across as slander for Keighley. By the way, I did think. I don't know if we, if I ever gave him credit, but I did think that his game show that he did put on a few months ago was probably the best show during the digital out of all the digital ones in terms of just organization and everything. And I think to your point, Chrono, I think one of the issues we had last year is it hit everybody, and there really wasn't much time to prepare. It's like, okay, you got to just go film this in some dark room somewhere, and I don't know. Like they really had to scramble last year. They were planning on E3, the live event until March, and then I don't even think it hit them until maybe a month later, and it just wasn't a lot of time to get your production values in order and know how to film that stuff. So I think we saw, like with Keeley's, his Game Awards show, that I thought that was pretty good. I thought there was only a few big announcements there, but in terms of like how he had it set up and the professionalism, the production and organization and everything, like that to me felt like a real show. Like you forgot that there really wasn't people in that audience after, once it got going, at least for me. So I can see that. I can see them, doing a good job from. I think we'll be relatively surprised how Sony and Microsoft put on their shows. Now, whether they do it the same week or not, I think that's the other question. I do hope that the industry tries to pick a day during the year where they don't maybe unload all their announcements, but they too try to bring each try to bring a few big announcements at one time.
Yeah. AOBM, hold on for just a sec here. Hold on. I'm hearing something. Something's coming through the newswire in my headset here. Give me a sec. Okay. Okay. All right, we got breaking news. Lucasfilm has fired Gina Carano from The Mandalorian after abhorrent and unacceptable social media post. Actually, B Money shared that in the BRAP DM. Thank you for sharing that, B. Because she had been under the microscope a little bit for some interesting political tweets, if you will, over the last couple months. And they just
I shared that right before B did. You know that, right?
Okay, so Eric Jackson, I stand corrected. Eric Jackson shared.
Not that I'm trying to steal B Money shine, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, but
you've been a little bit confused today, so I'm just making sure you.
Yeah, I called Forte Slow-Mo, and I may call Slow-Mo Forte. And I may call Jeremy One Bad Mother. It's just been one of those. Yeah, it happens. Right? You look, I'm tired. My body's weary.
Weary.
Yeah,
he's on a diet.
On a diet. Yeah.
He's on water fast.
What'd you say? About what?
Water fast.
Water fast. Right. Yeah. So she's gone. That's statement from Lucasfilm. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable.
Do not make comparison comments to anything Holocaust related.
Yes, that is a big no-no. She compared being a modern day Republican to being Jewish during the Holocaust. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, who does that? Like, what are we doing here, people? What are we doing?
The modern Republican Party is really who does that.
Well, but what? I won't say. Like, in fairness, I will say all Republicans are like this, because I have family members that are Republicans that really denounce this stuff and are like, "Holy shit, what's happening to our party?" Like I've had that conversation, and I have some friends that are Republicans are like, "Holy shit, what's happening to our party?" And they're just kind of like baffled. They're like, "This isn't the Republican Party, but this is part of the Republican Party now, right?" And I'm not trying to get political or anything. I'm just saying, like, there is a section, and she is clearly part of that. I mean, like, comparing that party to the Jews during the Holocaust, like, really? Like, what are we doing here, people? Mind blowing. Yeah. I don't get it.
Someone needs to hire a PR person to handle her. Yeah,
like who let her tweet? Like, stop tweeting. It's almost bad as the guy running for the governor of Michigan who tweeted today. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see that.
You don't even want to see it. I think we shared it in the BRAP DM. So anyhow, yeah, she's gone. Thank you for that breaking news, Eric. I appreciate it, man.
Well, B Money. I'll give it a B Money.
Okay, B Money. Thank you, B.
It's all you, E. It's all you.
Yeah. So Neo Wise is saying Pedro Pascal calls half the country Nazis and nothing happens.
Well, I won't say half, but a good portion of it are acting like Nazis right now. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what Pedro said, and I don't know. That's not to me. That's not as offensive as
that's not the same.
That's yeah. That's it. Like we got to stop. Like like we talk about this all the time. OBM. What about isms? Like let's stay on topic. We're not talking about Pedro Pascal. We're talking about her and what she said.
Yeah.
What about isms are the bullets and a conversation stopping gun?
This guy's like, oh my God, a Trump supporter gets assassinated in San Fran over the summer and people cheer. Well, you know what? I wasn't cheering. I don't think those people that cheering should be cheering over the death of somebody. I give you that. But let's stop with the whataboutisms.
Yeah, usually that's just usually a sign that you don't have very much to you don't have very much
conversation.
Yeah. You don't have a good defense. So yeah, there isn't really anything to defend that comment. And,
well, he's saying it's hypocrisy. I'm like, well, there's also it's more of a false equivalency. Like,
Well, and at the end of the day, like, you know what? Then you know what? If somebody else is saying some off the wall shit like that, then you deal with that shit when it's brought to you. When somebody's talking about one thing, you try to bring something else into the issue. It's just just a deflecting is usually. I mean, first of all, it just really shows you don't have a position because that's really.
Well, he says he's talking about hypocrisy, but I think you could speak to hypocrisy if it's an even playing field, right?
Well, and a hypocrisy does exist, right? But in this case here, I just think we're talking about this case. So
exactly, yeah. But he brought up Pedro Pascal, and he's trying to correlate the two as being equal, and what I'm saying is they're not really equal.
Obviously, I do know the Chewbacca defense. It does not make sense.
Chewbacca defense.
Yeah, but get back to game. I mean, hey, I will give Neil Wise the benefit of the doubt that they got her ass up out of here faster than we seem to be able to get Trump up out of here for that whole insurrection thing. It's just so hypocrisy is real. It definitely is real.
Yeah. So all right. So we do have some so back to gaming. We do have some news regarding the ZeniMax and the acquisition of ZeniMax by Microsoft. Microsoft is, and this actually came from, let me see this again. Oh, it was a document that was posted on the European Commission's website that reveals Microsoft's plan to secure approval for its $7.5 billion acquisition of ZeniMax. The concentration is accomplished by way of merger pursuant to which a newly created Microsoft subsidiary called The Vault will be merged with and into ZeniMax. So that's kind of interesting. Vault reference to Fallout, the Fallout series, if you don't know that. But what do you guys think about this? Like, is this mean, or is this some people are saying this is evident of the fact that we're still going to see Bethesda games on multiple platforms?
Whether that happens or not, this doesn't have anything to do with that. Hogue actually had a video on it, and I didn't get to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I get to watch it here.
Yeah, I did see somebody summarize some stuff from it. I was reading online, and I think the gist of it is that what they're doing right now is just to make the to integrate them quicker. To basically go through this process faster, more efficiently, whatever.
EA just recently did this too, by the way, OBM. Okay. They did this with a Codemasters called Codex Games Limited. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, and I think that's the way he explained it. It's just part of the process. It doesn't tell you anything in terms of what they're going to do with exclusives or anything else that's really going to happen in terms of strategy. So I think that ends up being kind of a separate issue. They are going to get to run autonomously. I know that Microsoft doesn't have the bandwidth. I mean, they barely have enough bandwidth right now to manage the new studios they brought in the last 2 years, and that's one of the reasons why they've been looking at publishers, because they realize that in order to expand quickly, like they need to bring in the content, that they're going to need to bring in companies that they can just hey, we trust you guys. You guys know how to make games and do your thing, and so Bethesda is going to operate with all their publishing arm. Like it's basically going to be like Xbox Game Studios, and Bethesda will sit kind of side by side, reporting right up to Phil. So from that standpoint, I think they kind of clarified that early on in the process. Like they were going to continue to operate like kind of independently. I don't know that that means that they get to say where the games go, but in terms of everything else, they'll pretty much get to, make their own decisions, create whatever games they want to create. So whoever's running Bethesda today, whether it's P. Hines or whoever, is going to continue to make those decisions for the studio. And which is why they're going to be going through with some of these other licenses, I think, because I know that Microsoft was opposed to using other people's licenses. They really want to leverage that within Game Pass. So the fact that they're kind of now, Bethesda is rumored to be having another Lucasfilm IP potentially in the works. That just tells you that that they are really just doing their own thing when it comes to content, which in my opinion is a good thing, just because we've seen in the past what happens when Microsoft interferes in the creative side. So
that's always been my biggest concern, that everyone keeps talking about, all of these acquisitions that Microsoft has done over the last couple of years. But the fact that we haven't seen much of anything, you just don't know exactly. Microsoft swears that they're giving them the creativity to do what they need to do, but in the end, they're the money purse. If Microsoft wants a multiplayer shoved in somewhere, they'll dictate as much. And again, we haven't seen much about anything of their games. It leaves me worried, and I want to jump back and do some Xbox stuff, but they're giving me no reason to. So
yeah, I mean, no, you bring up fair points. When people talk about, well, they haven't shown me anything, that's true. they really haven't at this point. They haven't shown anything.
That's not true, OBM. They have shown us stuff.
Well,
have you seen Division 2 at 60 frames per second? Come on, dude.
I don't need your sarcasm right now when I'm talking. When I'm serious.
Come on, man. Backwards compatibility.
Well, no, I mean, all that stuff is nice. But what I'm talking about, though, like for people that already have a primary system, and a lot of people, chosen PlayStation or PC or whatever. But for those people that if you're looking at it as like, hey, I need exclusives to move to pick up this ecosystem or try out Game Pass and stuff like that. No, I understand it. Like for me, because I'm so I guess engaged with every little freaking detail, like obsessively, probably unhealthy, in terms of how much I pay attention to like what's going on in gaming. I know that I can see that stuff on the horizon. Like I know it's coming. I know it takes 4 years to make a AAA game. But for the average consumer, they really haven't shown that yet. They showed trailers, and we know that trailers don't mean shit. So, at this point in time, there's really nothing wrong with any, everyday consumer or somebody who's like, well, that's not my primary ecosystem, to say, well, maybe I'll come back and I'll look and see what you got going on in 2022, which is really when I think for most of the industries when things will pick up. I do think there's intentions for some stuff in 2021. Bethesda has a couple of studios that have been working on stuff 4.5, 6 years will be Starfield come this in full production come the end of this year. But regardless of what the intentions are, we know that the COVID stuff's knocked everything back. So 2022 is probably the realistic time for stuff like that. But Chrono, on your point of like the autonomy thing, I've heard from people like in the industry that's been one of the selling points. So if Microsoft goes, yeah, I mean, if they go back on that, I don't know that they can. Like that's the thing, and I know Slomo's talked about that the last time.
Well, I think they totally can, OBM. I mean, but I do see what you're saying. That's a great point. Like that would probably, that would definitely hurt them in the way that, okay, well, you told us we could, there would be we'd have some level of autonomy. Now there's not. Like that would certainly ruffle feathers.
Yeah, because you see like Tim Schafer.
Well, it's more than a level of autonomy.
What's up, Slomo?
What's up, guys?
Real quick. I want to make a formal introduction to the man of many backslaps. Slomo backslap. Slomo, you say you're quarantined, man. Are you okay, bro? I just want to make sure everything's all right, man.
I had to take a COVID test yesterday. And unfortunately I wasn't able to get results immediately, so I gotta wait 2 days until I get results. So I've been quarantined to my basement which is good for me in the sense that I get to stay on my PC and play games and my PlayStation, but not good in the sense that I'm kind of starting to get a little antsy with being stuck in this basement. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late.
No, man, it's all good.
They got me. They gave me some other medication for some like chest lung issues. And that stuff knocked me out, man. I was like around like 5:30. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a little nap, take a little nap before BRAP, that rhymed, and then
nap before BRAP. I like that. That might be my debut album.
right. I wake up and it's like 8:45. I'm like, wait, what? What happened? So yeah, I'm being late.
Well, Slomo, just in all seriousness, is family okay though, man? Like, I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah, everyone's good. We mostly don't think I have.
Okay, man.
I have COVID, but
keep us posted, man. Keep us posted.
It's got take precautions. I could be asymptomatic and not realize it. So.
That's true, man. And that happens, man. I want to get a super chat before I get to you, Slomo. The Ashley Luca, what's up, Luca? With a $5 super chat says, "Damn, my bad for losing track of time. I was watching videos on how to make steak. What's good, fellas?"
Luca has bought an air fryer and it has changed her life.
Air fryers, Luca. Air fryers are the truth. We've had one for months. They are amazing.
Yeah,
it's a game changer for real.
Yeah, game changer, absolutely.
It's definitely a game changer.
Luca will be talking about just making. I just want to cook stuff. I just want to cook anything. I'm just like, okay.
You're like, Luca, want to play some Destiny? No, I got to use my air fryer tonight.
Wouldn't be surprised if they got a microtransaction air fryer as an emote in Destiny now. Anything to make money. Wow. I mean, to get to your point,
go ahead.
I do believe that the whole, and I think it's been proven so far that the studios have full autonomy on what they do with their games. The only difference is that where their games are, what platforms their games are on isn't really in their control, and I really don't think they care about that, honestly. Yeah. We've seen it with the fact that they've come out with Bleeding Edge and Grounded, two games that were well in development well before Microsoft purchased those studios, and then they were allowed to come out. Now, I think, and I think some of that One Bad was alluding to something I said before, that this is a double-edged sword. So you give them full autonomy, but some of these studios don't really know how to handle certain things, and some of them need a little bit more guidance. Obsidian really doesn't, but a Compulsion Games or Undead Labs does. And you're not really going to see growth coming from a small, like a younger studio. I'm sure they got like veteran developers. Like, for example, I could use Compulsion. Compulsion's only made 2 games, but a lot of the studio there are former Arcane Studios veterans. But as together as a studio, they're still pretty green. The problem with that is that we've seen interviews with Compulsion developers where they talk about, oh, we made these kind of mistakes and this kind of mistakes, and we're going to get better. But what if the studio doesn't realize the mistakes they've been making? And where is the daddy, the parent, to come in and be like, yo, y'all really need to fix these things here and here, and you got a great foundation of a great idea.
Sony does that.
Yeah, Sony does that. Nintendo does that. Other publishers do that. Microsoft doesn't do that. And before they used to do that and be wrong.
Yeah.
And now they've taken a step back because they realize how they have hindered relationships with developers. And now they don't say anything. They just give you the money. And the other side of it is that who's doing that? Because we look at 343 Industries, and somebody should have stepped in a long time ago.
Well, yeah, I think to slow it. One thing I just wanted. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, you took a breath, and I was like, then I jumped in, so I apologize. But no, I was going to say, no, to your point, you are right. It is a double-edged sword, and like that is like one of the things. Like sometimes you just got to make calculations from like a high level and say, hey, yeah, we're going to probably step in some mistakes here doing this, but at the same time, you know, in the bigger picture, this is probably going to be better in the long run, you know. But will just want to add one thing though, that there is still a process where, because I know it's been talked about, where Booty will still go to these studios like a compulsion. So they still get feedback, like there's still feedback given to them. So they're not like like the autonomy thing. I think it's like I don't know, like if it's like a semantics thing or whatever, but like it doesn't mean that they can just sit around and just drink lattes all day and not like develop games.
I don't know, not according to some of the pictures I've been seeing about lunch and stuff, man.
I've seen like Mooch talk about that, but no, I don't think that's the case. I do think there is still.
And I'm joking, by the way.
No, I know you are, but
no, I'm just saying. I know you are, but other people will be like, "Oh my God, there's Enrique the Pony again."
Well, you are a pony. It's okay though. It's fine. we love you for who you are.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I understand. I understand what you're saying, but if you listen to anything that Matt Booty has been saying, like whenever he does interviews, and also listen to things that people like Brian Fargo, who runs In Exile, and Tim Schafer, who runs Double Fine, have said. And even Ergus Verkwat, who runs Obsidian,
yeah,
all of their comments in regards to this all seem to be very similar. Matt Booty is always like, they showed me what they were working on, they showed me how it's going, and I pretty much take a look at it and say, cool, you know, keep it up, guys. He's a cheerleader. It seems like he's a cheerleader, and then you get Brian Fargo, who says that he prepared this pitch on their next unannounced game, and he spent all these hours trying to make, you know, the pitch just right, and was preparing all of this data on to justify why they should do the game. And he gets 45 seconds into his pitch, and then Booty just goes, "All right, hey, look, stop. Go ahead, you're good. Go ahead and make it." You know,
I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different than what other publishers are doing, so much so that even Tim Schafer still didn't believe it after even signing on. And then he does his pitch, and it's pretty much similar to what Brian Fargo said, and he's just like, well, wow, it really is true. We do have that freedom to make what we want, to do what we want. And it again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about like the double-edged sword part, but I do think that when it comes to where they put their games, that's the only thing that they really turn the care for, Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I've saw all those things too, so I think you know what you said is exactly right in terms of like how those guys are responded. But those are also like the names you mentioned are some of the industries like those are guys, like you have guys in your team. I don't know if anybody's dealt with like management or anything like that, but there's certain people on your team that just come to you and they just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. You're like, okay, cool. Like I know that they're working their asses off. They're going to get shit done. That's not like where I'm going to spend my resources. Then you'll have other people on your team. You're like, okay, this person, you know, need to, you know, spend some more time with, or at least in this area, I need to spend some more time with them here. And so you so I think that's what, like, sometimes that stuff gets taken out of context because Fargo's run Interplay before. They know the guy knows how to, like, if he gives them money, they trust the dude. At the end of the day, there's no way that they can expand and like go to 30 studios. They don't have nobody. They
don't have enough people to be fully on top of everyone when you have 23 studios. So, yeah, which is also I don't know if you guys have talked about the whole Vault thing yet or not.
That's what we're talking about right now.
Okay, all right. So them doing Vault is kind of keeps it out of Xbox Game Studios directly. Therefore, Matt Booty doesn't have to manage that. Right. You got Pete Hines managing that for Vault, and therefore it's not. Now, I know that some people are running with it, and it seems like people are running with anything and saying it's going to PlayStation, but that doesn't mean it's going to PlayStation. This is a administrative move. This is about administration. It's not about game development. So we still don't know that for certain. All their games could very well go to PlayStation. All their games could very well be on a case-by-case basis, like like Phil Spencer said, or they could be completely exclusive to Xbox ecosystem, and they just didn't want to say that until everything is finalized for legal reasons. We don't know. We'll find out later. But people kind of jump with a gun with the whole, oh, but this is why it's going to PlayStation. It's not even under Xbox Game Studios. I'm like, you don't know that. I mean, this is similar to EA with Codemasters. They created a whole new a name of a brand to be over Codemasters as well. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, all that stuff isn't new to business when someone makes a massive acquisition. But to your point with, Brian Fargo probably knows more about game development than anybody in the Xbox leadership.
Yeah.
So no one really needs to tell him anything. Just give him the money. He knows how to make games. Same thing with Schaefer. Same thing with Fergus. But what happened with 343? If you really are the kind of publisher where you're the parent that knows who to pay attention to and who not to pay attention to, you should have been paying attention to 343 Industries for a decade. For a decade, they've been screwing this up. For a decade, they've allowed the Halo IP to be tarnished.
Heads need to roll.
And so far, what, like you telling me you knew the way that game looked and said, hey, that visually looks like what a next gen game should look like. That visually looks better than Halo Guardians. It doesn't, surprise. And then you show the game and then you go, oh, the feedback. Oh, Craig, how did we miss Craig's face? I didn't realize that was there. Let's talk about this. Why does it come to that with them all the time? Sea of Thieves. They actually had the audacity to say that if it wasn't for the community feedback, we wouldn't have known what was needed for this game. Are you serious? The game had 2 fetch quests when it launched. Big, massive, beautiful world. Collect chickens. Fight skeletons, collect chests, laughing. Bring it back. That's it. That's all you had to do. Are you telling me seriously that you had no idea that this wasn't enough content for people?
I think they had an idea back then.
Yeah, but you either lying to our face, which is not cool, or you don't have any clue what quality gaming is.
Slow-mo. Yeah. Let me just interject here real quick. Jeremy's over there chuckling, but it's like some valid points, and you're spot on. Like, they have a quality control problem. I don't think they'll have it with, I shouldn't say across the board they do. Some of their studios, I think there's stuff coming out that's like, what do you got? Like, what's going on here?
Right.
Like you talked about the Craig thing. Like the higher ups didn't even see that trailer that they showed us until afterwards. Like, how does that would never happen at Sony?
Yeah,
it would happen at Nintendo.
How do you show a trailer and you don't even know what the trailer? Like, the first time you watch the trailers is the first time that we watch the trailer. Like, what?
That's not a good.
Oh
look.
Man, what's wrong? Yo, what's up with the popping? Hey, cut the feed. No, it's too late. We already watching it. We saw the pop in. We saw the draw distance that wouldn't go beyond 2 feet beyond the Warhog that was driving. We saw all that stuff. And it's just like, you should have saw that weeks ago and said, you know what? We ain't showing Halo Infinite.
And here's the thing, Slow-mo. They really, with Game Pass, and this isn't a knock against Game Pass, because I do think Game Pass is potentially offers value to someone who sees value in that service. But I don't, from a quality standpoint, I think when you put games in a Game Pass, like, they need to have games that really drive engagement in the sense, or hold player engagement. Like, because I really do think that if you are in Game Pass and you pick up a game and that game doesn't work for you, and the mindset is, and we see it already, oh, what's in Game Pass, so like it's free, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a game doesn't captivate you, that's going to be an issue for them. because that person's gonna be like, you know what, I'm not gonna play this, I'm done, and go on to something else because there's other options, right?
Right. Content is king.
Yeah,
in this industry, it's everything. It's the reason why Stadia is already dead.
Yeah,
because they don't have content.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, quality control's got to be paramount for them here as they start dropping first party exclusives into Game Pass. Because if they're not good, if they're not captivating that audience and holding them in, so they stay focused in that one game, people are going to, more than they would, I think, spending $70 in a game. They're more likely, I think, to be like, you know what, that's in Game Pass. It's not a big deal. I really didn't pay $70 for it, so I'll pass. I'm going to do something else.
Right, which means that what people will start doing is resubscribing to Game Pass when there's something that they want to play, and then because that's all they wanted to play in Game Pass, they will unsub once they're done with it. Now, you're right, Enrique. What they want to do is they want people to stay in Game Pass. Yeah. They even said it years ago, and we were talking about this years ago, about how they wanted a AAA game drop in every quarter, which is something even Sony doesn't do right now as far as that level of content and that consistently. For you to, and we said it then, like for you to do that, you need to have 20 plus studios. So they're getting 20 plus studios. Well, here we are. 2021, they got 20 plus studios and they're still going. So they understand what's necessary as far as how many developers it takes to get to that level of content. Now, is it good though? Because if it's not good, what you're still going to get is every now and then people are going to, for something they're interested in, resubscribe, play it, and then unsub. Now they have their first really real opportunity to really keep people in is Halo Infinite, because if that really hits, if that multiplayer is fire, if whatever other modes they're coming up with are really good, that can really keep people invested because they're still playing Halo Infinite. I'll stop playing that for a little while and then play whatever game, that AAA game that dropped in. Cool. Mm-hmm. But if Halo Infinite is really, really lit, then they're going to get people to stay in it that way. They need those kind of games. It doesn't really necessarily have to be a multiplayer game. It could be a single player game like Fable. Fable, their previous Fables always seem to have replayability to me. I played them multiple times.
Yeah.
Avowed, Obsidian's next RPG. That game is going to be something that it's not. I mean, I don't know much about it, but if it's Obsidian RPG, I'm thinking it's not going to be as short as the Outer Worlds was.
Well, we talked about it before. So I don't want to bring up a bunch of old points, but yeah, they know they need a Strangers thing. They know Netflix didn't get to 200 million subscribers because they're only put in a bunch of B quality content. Yeah, you need to have quantity and diversity to capture the all these different niches of audiences, and they're going to need that as well. But in addition to that, you need to have. It wasn't really until Netflix got those, I guess, for lack of a better word, banger shows that everybody started talking about at work, that they started to get to that tipping point where they're actually we're going beyond just that niche TV show watcher audience. So that's kind of like what they and Nadella, actually his previous mentor was Hastings, who co-founded Netflix. So he knows that stuff. And if you listen to their calls, that's when he's telling these investors that we're going to invest in more developers, and he's talking about IP. They one of the things is when they announced the Bethesda thing and they had that mindshare boost, they're aware of what can happen when you have a big name associated with your brand. And so that's one of the things you kind of saw them pivot away from. You were just talking about the compulsions, and I guess you can throw Undead in there as well and things like that. Those smaller project studios that you're going to build up over time, and those could still be really good studios in time. But I think they're done with that. At this point, it's we're just going to get the big companies that know what they're doing. We don't have to babysit them. They have IP that people know about. Because they are really shooting the investment they're making now. You can't really recoup that at 50 million subscribers. You really have to start getting over. You have to get into really big numbers for this to make sense in terms of like what a $2 trillion company needs in order for it to make sense. You know?
Yeah, I think they're kind of in that kind of uncanny valley right now where they have more subscribers than any other subscription service in gaming, which is, great, but then it's still not as many subscribers that you would like to see for this kind of service from what they're trying to accomplish. I think something I noticed with their most recent earnings call was they talked about they have 47.5 million subscribers for Office 365, which is interesting because a lot of people say that, well, if they weren't doing so poorly, they would have never done Game Pass. But here they are in a completely different market with Office Suite, Office software that people need to do their job, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Outlook, Excel, Visual Studio, that kind of stuff, right? They are far and away the leader in that market. There's no one who provides that service better than they do, and yet here they are, still have a subscription, and they're still pushing that subscription.
Yeah.
Nadella has them in this direction regardless. If Xbox, the only reason Xbox is here, true, is because of Game Pass. But that's not because if they were in first place, they would have Game Pass. That's the direction of the company, period.
Right.
So, that said, here is, again, 47.5 million subscribers for the best software in that arena. And that's still less than 50 million. I think they need to get above that for Game Pass.
Oh, they definitely do, because there's no expense to that. I mean, there's not this kind of operate. You're not paying five right now. What are they going to have? 5,000 developers on the payroll in addition to the billions they just invested. So.
Yeah. You need more than 47. Which it's a daunting task if you think about it. Yeah.
They're going to have to sell more than 50 million Xboxes like they did this past generation.
Right. Yeah.
And that's going to be that's the challenge. We talk about Netflix, but Netflix was able to hit that number because they're on every device. And maybe you get some more Game Pass people through, xCloud, which is not even talked about by Microsoft. Which I'm still kind of like scratching my head, like, why don't you talk about this? Like, it's actually not a bad feature set to advertise. It's just hidden in Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah. But I think they've already, I think they've mentioned a dongle to connect to your smart TV. And I think that is, and I think there's something that I read about them partnering with, I think it's LG or Samsung, either LG or Samsung.
Samsung.
Yeah. And so Game Pass might be a part of something that's just built into the smart TV. You know how you get apps that's just built into it, like your Netflix, your Amazon Video, whatever. That might end up being where it goes eventually. So who knows? And of course, all that stuff will run off of xCloud because clearly a little dongle connected to the back of your TV or just run off your smart TV isn't going to be enough, but
oh my god,
it's probably going to be xCloud.
No, you see the live chat?
Oh, there we go. We're talking about dongles again, guys. You knew that as soon as you talked about dongles, we were about to go off.
Here's the thing, right? Is the second time I said it, I was like, somebody gonna make a joke about this dongle.
Yes, you should say
someone's gonna make a joke about this dongle.
Yeah. Real quick, guys, I do want to transition because I want to get this last topic in because this is a big one. So Slobo, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. Is there?
No, I'm good, man. Go ahead.
Okay, but before
go ahead, B-Money. Go ahead, man.
I think for them to really bolster that subscriber number, they need to turn more focus to the PC side of it.
Yeah,
and I think that's where they actually will gain more leverage than what they'll see on a console and implementing this and TVs and all the other shit. Because that's only going to hit the casual market, and you got to hope that they are even interested in that. They can put it in all the TVs that they want to, sell all the dongles they want to. They're only going to they're going to hit a wall eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they're selling 100 million consoles.
No.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you got to, you know, be able to provide that service and kind of leverage the PC space, because that's the biggest gaming space anyway.
It'll be. I got a question for you, because you got a PC. You game on PC
right.
a little bit too, right?
Woo, PCMR, best place to game.
You know, like both being and Enrique know, their apps suck on PC.
Yeah, it's trash.
Yeah,
it's trash. And didn't
Well,
they say a year
one,
ago they were going to improve that? There has been marginal improvement. I mean, like once like barely any improvement. It went from a -2 to a 0.5 out of 10 as far as improvement. Now you notice they're starting to put, like there was an announcement Forza Horizon 4 is going to launch on Steam. Yeah. A lot of their games are either when they come out on their own store and also on Steam. And then now some of their older games are coming out on Steam. I think that they've given up on trying to etch out their own ecosystem on PC, and because it goes to show how bad their infrastructure is when their own games run better on Steam than they do if you get them through the Microsoft store. So if they want, but here's the problem, is that if you want Game Pass, if you want to play those games through Game Pass, you can't play them through Steam.
Right.
So I think at some point there's going to be some deal happening with Valve that's going to allow Game Pass on Steam.
Wow, that would, the potential on Steam is actually greater than the potential on Xbox.
Yeah.
Maybe significantly more.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, EA passes on Steam, so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a precedent for it. Valve is definitely open to listening to it. And I think that would be the best bet for them to grow Game Pass on PC. Because if you're still trying to lock Game Pass to your Microsoft store, nah, we've already seen it. PC gamers have said, I would rather pay for the game.
Yeah.
Subscribe to this and get it in the service. I would rather pay for the game than deal with the foolishness that you got going on over there.
Yeah.
Are there still games that you can't?
Alrighty.
All right. I'll catch you guys later.
Yep.
All right,
peace out,
you, bro.
Later.
Your Chrono, you were saying?
Are there still games that you can't play on Ultimate that you can play on regular on the Xbox version?
Yeah, so the PC store is definitely different than what you see on console.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have a lot more games that are PC centric, like more like maybe like RTS games, stuff like that. I remember, although Frostpunk has shown up, there's a console version that works on consoles now. Frostpunk was on PC Game Pass for months before it showed up there. And there are other games that are more PC centric that just say there. Of course, Gears Tactics 2 as well, but just outside. But then the flip side of it is that a lot of the high profile AAA third party games that show up on Game Pass will be only on Xbox Game Pass. It won't be on PC Game Pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think also what will help them, I think it's more of a licensing issue that's the case. Or sometimes there are PC centric timed exclusive deals that Epic Game Store will have that will kind of force that to be the issue. But I think if they were able to get Game Pass on Steam, that could alleviate a lot of their problems, because a lot of those games launch on Steam, and when you don't even have the game on your Microsoft store, it's difficult to be able to say, hey, could you retool your game real quick so we could put it on Game Pass on PC, when Game Pass PC is such a smaller amount of the subscribers that Xbox Game Pass is. It's just like, it'd be great if it could just say, hey, it's in Game Pass, and then if they have Steam and they have subscribed to it, bam, you got it. It's good.
Right.
There's no other work that the developer needs to do. So
yeah. I want to transition to the last topic of the evening before we run out of time. In Slimo, this is something that we've talked quite a bit about in this podcast. So Anthem could be on the chopping block.
Oh my god!
Yes. So Anthem's future depends on EA's upcoming internal review.
It's a wrap,
which is supposed to happen this week.
Get some shovels.
Yeah, and look,
it is a wrap. I'm writing the eulogy right now.
So I look. So BioWare Austin has taken over. And if you don't know who they are, they have worked on like on live like multiplayer projects like Star Wars: The Old Republic. Yeah, and so executive producer Christian Daly kind of became the face of Anthem Next. You know, he was writing blog posts. Then he ends up leaving, and then we know about Casey Hudson and Mark Dara leaving as well. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not going to say because those guys left, this game's doomed, but this game look, didn't start off on a good on the good foot. Like it just didn't. And I'm not going to get into the history because that's a whole other conversation. But basically, you know, the game even changed its name to Anthem. Was supposed to be called something else.
It's supposed to be called Beyond. It wasn't even supposed to be a looter shooter.
Yes,
it's supposed to be a sci-fi survival game.
Yes,
with flight.
Yeah, then I think the flight mechanics were changed.
Much better.
Yeah, and so like the game's had issues. Like we all know the issues, and it came out. I gotta say, I like the particle effects in the game. I'm just big on particle effects. I don't know why. The particle effects in that game are great.
Visually, it looks great because Frostbite engine always looks great.
Oh, it does.
But how it runs is a whole different story, and you know, troubleshooting bugs and all that other stuff. It seems to be one of the worst engines to deal with for that. And yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So we're gonna tell you why. Probably Slobo's gonna tell you why EA will cancel Anthem this week. So let me do this. Let me go to a guest first, and then we'll go to you, Slomo, because I know you got a lot to say here. I'll go to our guest, and then B, if you want to chime in too, man, please chime in. I want to go to PlayStation greatness here, Jeremy. Jeremy, you know, it doesn't have a quality control problem. It's Sony PlayStation. Just want to throw that out there. I'm sorry. I like to have fun. You know. It's in jest. Come
poking
on,
at the beehive.
It's just in jest. It's in jest. It's in jest. What do you think, Jeremy? You think this game's going to get canceled this week?
See, I mean, I'll be very honest. And you know, Anthem was never something that interested me. You know, when it first came out, and definitely after it came out, was definitely not. It did nothing to convince me. I wonder though. It speaks of a greater issue that I'm concerned about is, are the creative minds that made BioWare as good as it was in the past, are they still there to drive the ship forward in a proper way? Or are they just basically an arm for EA to basically just, you know, all corporate, all, you know, creating a game by committee, you know, soulless style of game? And I just don't know. I didn't get a chance to see any of the Anthem Next stuff. But at the same time, you know, they have done nothing since Mass Effect and Dragon Age and that's even the first, it's probably Dragon Age Origin, to really show a level of creativity that gives them the that gives them the right to call them a AAA studio, and I don't see it anymore. So I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. They probably should just call it Anthem 2 and start all over instead of just trying to keep Anthem, the original Anthem, alive and just move on.
Yeah. We are gathered here today.
Let me go to before you get to
brothers and sisters.
By the way, real quick, hold on, guys. I got some breaking news. Hold on here. I'm going to my. Oh, really? Oh, so I was right. Okay. All right. This just said. Apparently, Pedro Pascal's been cast as Joel for The Last of Us, and which is interesting because he's a Chilean actor, and in my handle, you see a Latino can play Joel. that? See what happened there?
He's a really good actor. So
He's a great
actor.
actor.
The Mandalorian. This guy is winning. I mean,
like,
good,
man.
Years.
He was one of the best parts of Game of Thrones. So yeah,
he was part great, and actually he was great in Narcos. If you guys ever watched Narcos,
oh yes,
on Netflix, yeah, he was really good in that. I did not like him in Wonder Woman 1984 though.
Well, that movie was a dumpster fire, and none of the actors need to be like held accountable for how they performed in that.
Did you just admit to watching a DC fucking comic movie?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I don't know. All
right, go ahead, Jeremy. Finish your thoughts.
No, I was just gonna say I thought Pedro Pascal was the best part of Wonder Woman, just because of how over the top he was, just how scenery chewing he was. I thought it was fantastic. He was actually one of the most, like, that weekend, there was so much Pedro Pascal. I even watched that Robert Rodriguez movie, that sequel to, just because, it was on, and, he was fantastic in that too. So go
ahead, man. Finish your thoughts on Anthem.
Sorry about that.
No, that's it. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, OBM.
It just occurred to me, you were going to see Pedro Pascal's face smashed in twice.
Wow. Oh, spoilers.
Sorry.
Close one? No.
Sorry.
That's man.
That's wow.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why he got it. It was like, hey, he's got a very mashable face.
So we saw you on Game of Thrones, and we're thinking there's this one scene in the movie. You think you'd hit it off? It'd be
perfect.
It'd be perfect for it.
Yeah. Scene for me, and he did it perfectly. Oh shit! Sorry about that.
No, that was actually pretty clever, OBM. That was funny. But no, OBM, go ahead. Give us your thoughts on Anthem, man. Do you think so? OBM, are you kind of agree with Jeremy here? Do you think this game's going to get canned this week?
I mean, so I haven't heard anything that gives any indication either way. Obviously, you kind of look at it on the top end. It looks like it's headed for its death. If they hadn't made the decision already, then it's hard to see what's changed that's going to make them want to revive it. However, I will say that if they do cancel it, I think that's a huge mistake for EA. And the reason is because regardless of whatever the engagement is right now, if you look at like Ubisoft and like some other games, and I know that none of them have launched as bad as Anthem did, there's like a trust that their consumers have kind of gained with them, because they know that when they release something, they're going to support it. And even if it doesn't just do gangbusters on day one, they're going to continue to dig in and try to make that game better and bring it back. And we're even seeing that again with Division. And we saw it with, what was that fighting game that not many people talked about? That thing got support for a long time. And I think that stuff carries through, so that when you release other games, people just have faith that especially with these games as a service, that even if it's not perfect, if there's a foundation there, people they can expect that you'll eventually get there. And not that you don't, that you want to wait all the time, but a lot of people played Anthem, and I think even you guys have said that there was a good foundation. I haven't actually played it, but that said it was actually there was something there that was fun. It just wasn't fleshed out. And so I just think this is a bad look. And if they're trying to rebuild their image, one of the best ways to do that would be to give a game that sold a lot of copies, support, and at least made it a respectable game.
Yeah. It's interesting, OBM. Like somebody in live chat mentioned Anthem sold at least 6 million. It actually sold very well.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Because it was marketed extremely well. It was super hyped up. People were very invested in it. And they had a fake trailer, a la Cyberpunk, that it launched with, that they lied and said was running on the Xbox One X. It was running on a high-end PC. And even their actual developers, some of their developers in their own studio who were working on the exact game, didn't recognize the game they showed.
Yeah, that's true.
In 2017.
Yep.
So that's why it sold so well, because they sold people a dream And then when we got what we got, it was a fake Picasso. It was a imitation of what it was supposed to be, but it wasn't done very well, you know. And that's why I started the whole, you know, eulogy. You know, we're gathered here today, brothers and sisters.
Well, wait. So before we get to your eulogy of Anthem, I want to go to B Money real quick. So B, are you in agreement here, man, that you think it's going to get canceled, man? Or that
I told y'all, man, get your shovels ready.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
Wow!
Bring out the boots. Get your gloves. Start digging the ditch, man, because this thing is over with.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, man, because, you know, like OBM said, when we first got it, you know, those first couple hours, it's like, oh, okay, it looked like they got something here. And then you start to see it flesh out, and it's like, yo, where's the rest of the game at? You know what I mean? Like the mechs, you know what I mean? The different classes were cool, you know, how you can do combos and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Visually, it looked amazing. Flying around felt great. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other game recently that I can remember.
Particle effects.
Yeah, the particle effects. You know what I mean? Like, it looked amazing. It was not a complete game. And, you know, it's kind of sad that they had to take all this time off and say that they're working on it. And, you know, there's a final decision, you know, this week to say yay or nay to either, you know, kill this thing or to keep working on it. So, you feel for those developers putting in that time and trying to revamp a game that they all sold us on. But this thing is over with, man. Go ahead and bury it and just move on. Because I feel like if this next Dragon Age isn't like anything worth talking about, then BioWare's done.
Wow. Wow. I didn't want to think about that. BioWare being done. That doesn't mean like sit right with me. Like, doesn't sound like that just can't happen.
Yeah, just, you know, if
it can happen.
If Dragon Age is not something worth talking about, they will move on. And you can just tell by the way that they've kind of moved Vince Zampella around over at EA. Like they are ready to make some real changes. And if y'all ain't ready to, you know, suit up and get the job done, get your ass out of here.
Wow. Well, yeah. Wow. All right, Slow-mo.
Well, hey, real quick.
Yeah,
do you think that Mass Effect, the remaster, would be enough to, you know, stay the execution of BioWare? Or do you think it would take a whole new Mass Effect game? Because let's be realistic, they're sort of like Bethesda at this point, where they're just going to trot out these familiar brands to hope that people are going to latch on and, you know, live with that nostalgia and hopefully make a good game out of it. But do you think it'll be enough? You know,
I don't think their existence is hinged on Mass Effect Legendary Edition, just based off of how much that they actually put into it. They budgeted to it, and it wasn't a lot. They wouldn't even approve of them taking it off of Unreal Engine 3.
Yeah.
To put it on Unreal Engine 4. Now the reason why we have now Unreal Engine 4.25 is because Epic realized that they really didn't do the developers that licensed their engine any favors with Unreal Engine 4, and there was no upgrade path. There was no seamless transition, and so it took a minimum of 2 years of development for developers to get games that were being developed on Unreal Engine 3 moved to 4. Now that hasn't changed at all. All Epic did was say, hey, look, we're not going to screw you like that again. When it comes to Unreal Engine 5, there's a slow little process to get your game on 4.25 from 4, and then it's the same process from 4.25 to 5. There you go, which is great. But when it comes to this particular game, they would have had to spend an additional 2 years of development to get this game on Unreal Engine 4. Just Unreal Engine 4. At that point, you're well into next generation anyway. You might as well just keep going to get it up to 5. And at that point, you're doing a remake now instead of a remaster. Yeah. And I don't think EA was willing to spend that much money on development for this remaster. The multiplayer for Mass Effect 3. They didn't want to put that in there because then they admitted the amount of time it would have took and resources it would have took to get it done wasn't what they were willing to do. They admitted that publicly to games journalists. It's just like, wow, okay, well, they lost. Some of the code got corrupted for Pinnacle Station on Mass Effect 1. Instead of actually redoing it, they just said, bump it, we ain't got it, keep it moving. This is a very minimalistic project, and if you look at it from that stance, I don't think EA really invested too much in it for it to be great anyway. So they don't think that it's really going to hinge on that. I agree with B Money. Dragon Age 4 is it. That is their next big game. That is it. They have 2 strikes, 3 strikes, you're out. And if Dragon Age 4 doesn't hit, I mean, it's a wrap for them. I don't even think Mass Effect, the next Mass Effect, will make it to release if Dragon Age 4 bombs. And if you really think about it like this, this is the reason why Anthem is dead. Because Christian Daly was leading, he was the executive producer leading Anthem next. And Dragon Age 4 is so important. They took him off of that and put him on Dragon Age 4 after Mark Dara left. Because they literally didn't have anyone else to do that. Mike Gamble is working on the next Mass Effect. They don't have the veterans lying around that were just vying for a promotion like they did a decade ago. They got a lot of green thumbs trying to get their name out there. Christian Daly, 4 years ago, that guy was working for Blizzard. Now he's running their most important game. That's mind blowing to me, considering all the veteran talent they once had.
But isn't it? Play devil's advocate here. I mean, isn't it possible that there's someone there, maybe not someone of the same, recognition from, in terms of name, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe someone there that is talented, that they've identified. So, this person can actually take this franchise where it needs to go.
Then why is Christian Daly now working on Anthem next? If that was the case.
I'm just saying, like, maybe there's someone they felt that was maybe at the same level. We don't know. Mm-hmm. And they said, you know what, we can move Christian Daly over here because this project maybe needs him a little bit more. And the team collectively is doing a good job with Anthem.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that possibility is absolutely real. And there's a possibility that Christian was like, hey, Billy Bob over here is awesome. He knows what he's doing. And I think he should be tapped to run this at, now that I'm going on the Dragon Age, and y'all keep, doing what you're doing that we were working on for a year. Cool. All right. I mean, that's certainly a possibility, but we got to keep it a buck. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for Anthem Next. Anthem Next is so done. And I wish it wasn't the case, because I kind of really wanted them to have a redemption story. I thought it would have been really nice, especially for their reputation, to really kind of help bring them into Dragon Age 4. Maybe people would feel a little bit better about them, that they pulled the Hello Games and really revitalized Anthem Next. But the difference between games like Final Fantasy 14 and No Man's Sky when it comes to Anthem is, when it comes to Final Fantasy 14, they were able to restart the entire game, basically. Made it put it into the narrative that the game was basically restarting, and they made it better. And Square Enix was invested in that, because Final Fantasy is a massive IP, and you just can't keep letting it take L's. Anthem is not a massive IP. It's a brand new IP. No one even gives a crap about it. They changed the name last second before even revealing it. Clearly, the name don't mean much to them. There is no history there. There is no fan base that is invested regardless of what you do with this reboot. Square Enix knew that if they did a reboot, the same people who were subscribed to it and were angry would be the same people who were going to play it. They don't have that assurance with Anthem.
Yeah.
With No Man's Sky, Hello Games, it's their only game. So it was either dissolve the studio or make the game people that you sold, that you told people that you were going to make. They had no choice.
They didn't have a choice. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but BioWare has
back
choices. They got Mass Effect and Dragon Age and Star Wars: The Old Republic, and they got other IP that they can remaster, Jade Empire, stuff like that. They got choices.
That's a good point.
They're not Hello Games. So when all that said, and you got a big publisher like EA who really is all about what shareholders feel, where does Anthem next sit? Both the games that we talked about were launched and then rebooted in the same generation. Anthem's going to have to be rebooted in the new generation. So how do you explain this to EA to say, hey, we think if people already bought the game on the Xbox One, that it's okay that they get that game for free on the Xbox Series X? I don't really think that's going to fly with EA leadership.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's now next generation.
Yeah.
And now the game, although it looked visually impressive in 2019, it's not gonna really move the meter on next generation console. So now you need to add some next gen upgrades to that. How long is that going to take?
Yeah,
they got to triple the team.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and they say it's either so these are the two solutions, the two paths this will go. They approve it, they triple the team to 90 developers, and they actually get this done, knowing that people could very well not even come back to it. And even if it's a quality game, even if it's awesome and finally what we thought Anthem was going to be, people are going to be like, yeah, I tried that. No. And so even if you may have got their sale initially, you may not get them back again. That's all that uncertainty for you to dedicate 90 people who could be working on Dragon Age 4, a game you need to actually be successful, to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sorry, but we have gathered here today.
I mean, look, I feel what you're saying.
To pay homage to a game that never really had a chance.
Yeah, I'm not.
No, they're not my baby.
Oh my god!
What the hell is that?
Oh my god! Jesus. So
sorry.
No, that's all good, Jerry. I'm with you guys. I think this is going to be canceled. And plus that genre, that space is so crowded by the heavyweights right now. It's like, you're going to have to really do something amazing, I think, to recapture, like you said, Slow-Mo, that audience. And I don't think I just think it's going to be very hard for them to do. I don't think they'll be able to do it. And I'm not trying to sound negative. I want them to do it because it'd be a great story, like you said, Slow-Mo, like Hello Games with No Man's Sky. But
yeah,
I don't see the case here. EA's got options.
I would actually prefer they do it because I don't like the fact that you had 30 developers working on something that didn't even have a chance to really go off the ground. So that's a year of their professional life wasted. I don't like the fact that you sold this to the Anthem community and told them you were doing this, and then come to find out it really wasn't. Like, it was more like a demo or a test phase, and now we're going to see whether it's really worth it to do it or not. But you already told us this was happening. You already told the Anthem community that this was going to happen. You sold them hope again, and then you snatched it away.
Yeah,
I don't like that. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. This is the reason why your name is trash in these gaming streets, and it's the reason why it will continue to be trash until you prove otherwise.
You mean EA or EA?
Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them.
Wow.
And I just don't like the way it looks, period. And so even though it would be counterproductive and for bad business for them to continue on with it, I think they should. I think they should do it, even if it becomes a failure, because for in the long run, if you really want people to give your next games a shot, you need to start taking some L's.
Yeah. That's what
because you let all of us take L's for playing your trash games and lying to us.
Wow.
You need to take an L and improve the game with the uncertainty of not knowing whether people will play it or not.
Wow.
Well, and Slow-Mo, to your point, I mean, again, I brought up Ubisoft earlier. Like, they've released some. Again, I can't remember the name of the damn game, like that fighting game, that sword one or whatever. Like
Brawlhalla?
No, it was
For Honor.
For Honor. Yeah. Oh, For Honor. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like a huge hit or anything that they kept. And I know it's probably apples and oranges a lot, but I guess the gist of it is that you start to set a precedent, and it's just bad for your brand. It is bad that people have to, like even like Sea of Thieves, games coming out and they're not finished, and that's a bad precedent in itself. But when you give up on it, that makes that much worse. I do think that at least if you try to come back, and you have a comeback story, it does give consumers faith in it. And a lot of them will forgive you, right? Like a lot of them will say, okay, you know what, you made this work out. And we've seen so many games like and you mentioned No Man's Sky, like we just seen it happen. Like that game should have just been dead. It has a real community now. There's no reason that game should still be successful from an independent developer that launched something that was a disappointment. People should have moved on from that, forgotten about it, but instead it's actually got a pretty healthy base for a single, mostly a single player game all these years later. So there is a historical evidence that it can be done. I get that it's kind of taking a long shot, and it's like this is really something they should have probably decided much earlier, and it was also something they probably should have gone all in on, not just 30. I guess you just can't be halfway in and putting 30 developers kind of spinning their wheels over a year. Like you really have to make that decision.
Much earlier. Yeah,
great point.
And then also to both of your points, this kind of game, they really never really had a chance with making this kind of game. If you think about the details here, Destiny is their competition, Anthem's competition. And Destiny, you dedicated 30 developers to reviving this and rebooting this game. Meanwhile, Destiny has 800 developers from Bungie, and they still need to have co-development studios that were under Activision to help get content out.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
The Division is made with 6 different development teams. And the main one, Massive, is 700 developers itself.
Yeah, 30 developers on
I think the writing's on the wall, man.
The comparisons are like when you think about the numbers, you're just like, you had no shot at doing this. Like, do you realize what it's going to take, the investment?
Wow.
In order to make Anthem really, really good, you would have to cancel Dragon Age 4, the next Mass Effect, the remaster, and take your entire BioWare studio and put them on Anthem,
or just hire people. But yeah,
or just hire. But then you're pretty much doubling the studio size for Anthem, and who's doing that for a game that's already bombed?
And then you got to think. And then you got to factor in the pandemic now, and how that's impacted development. So it's almost like I got to wrap up the show, guys, by the way. But it's almost like the odds are just stacked up against him at this point.
Yeah.
So
better to cut their losses.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat for hanging out with us tonight. I don't know who gave us the 2 thumbs down, but that's okay. It's okay. It doesn't bother me because it's
actually the 2 guys who are still playing Anthem.
Yeah, right. It actually it helps the algorithm out, so it's actually worked for us anyways. I don't care. But yeah, it's the 2 guys that are still playing Anthem that are shaking their fists at slow-mo right now. But no, seriously, thank you everyone in the live chat for coming out and hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like button, smash that like button. If you're new to BRAP, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. I will be doing another BRAP rant this weekend at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the following week, the following Saturday, going to do another BRAP rant. Going to have my man Fame Entertainment 2K is going to be on the BRAP rant. We haven't had Fame on in a long time. It's been a couple of years since Fame was on the show. So looking forward to having him on the BRAP rant in two weeks. So, excuse me. But also want to give a big shout out to Mr. Eric Jackson, who had to leave early. Appreciate you, EJ. Big shout out to Gaming Forte, who's getting ready to move into the Forte compound, or Forte. I forget what you called it, Jeremy. Was it the Forte? I don't know. Anyhow, I forgot.
Sorry, so long ago now.
Yeah, exactly. So long ago. But we'll give a big shout out to our special guest as well, Jeremy. Jeremy, let's just keep it a buck, man. PlayStation is great.
Greatness.
Greatness is here. Oh my God, PlayStation's doing. I mean, I love that PS5, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's, I mean, just the Demon Souls, Miles Morales. Even Astro's Playroom actually surprised me. Yeah, and I played Black Ops Cold War, or Call of Duty Cold War, and with the DualSense, the haptic feedback, wow.
It definitely changes the feel.
Yeah.
Man,
very interesting. I'm not a pony. I know OBM says I'm a pony, but
I'm just kidding. I don't really care.
Look, I will go where the games go.
I think it is funny when you get cream all over your face on the air. But anyways.
But no, Jeremy, seriously, man, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I love coming on the show, so thank you.
All right, go visit Go visit Forte soon, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When I'm off of vacation. So
yeah, no doubt. And if you want to be found, let everyone know they can find you, man.
I am on Twitter, Chrono0666, KRONO0666. Hit me up. We'll talk about video games, comic books. Hey, you may even see some of my artwork and movie reviews. So
nice. All right, awesome, man. And as always, big shout out to my man OBM, One Bad Mother, who I've known for many, many years, many decades now at this point. Many, many years.
Thanks for having me on the show again to be your fact checker. And as always, love being on the show with you guys. Slow-mo, B-Money, and Chrono. Great to be on again with you, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Really nice dude, man. So yeah, and people can find me. I'm on Twitter. I've only been there a few months. I don't like the console war, but if you want to talk gaming, I'm at One Bad Mother _ Mother 1. And also, I do have a newish Halo podcast. So if you're into Halo and looking forward to talking about it leading up to the launch every other week, you can catch us on You Had Me at Halo. But thanks for having me on the show again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, always a pleasure having you on OBM. We got to get some Destiny in, man. We haven't played Destiny since we did that mission. Fun. Remember it was like, I forget what it was. It was like we were definitely under levels, but we won. We beat it.
Yeah, we did it. We figured out. I took the bullets, and you just kept reviving me, and eventually we got it done. So
yeah, that was a good time. It was a good time.
I'll be done with my project. So hopefully be done with my project by this weekend. I can get back on it. So.
All right, awesome, man, awesome. And then we have B Money 101. B, man, always a pleasure, man. I'm going to see you in the Diamond this spring, man.
I think so, man. I'll be ready for sure.
No doubt, man. Let everyone know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, man, you can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. I'll actually be on 2K pretty heavy this weekend.
Nice.
With the My Team stuff, so definitely come check me out.
All right, man, awesome. And then last but not least, the man. I started doing that sound effect when you did it that one time, Slow-mo. I don't know what episode that was, but you're like or something.
Yeah, oh man, I must have been high or something. I wasn't high.
No.
Get high anymore ever. Really?
He said I don't get high anymore ever.
Never mind. Look, hey, come check out DPS podcast tomorrow on my YouTube channel, Slow-mo Backslap, where Forte and I will be doing the repass for the funeral. That is,
oh boy! Wow.
So we're gonna have all the food that you normally eat. We're gonna have wings. We're gonna have potato salad. We're gonna have some ribs. We're gonna bring Anthem, home, a celebration of its short-lived life in the right way. So come check us out. We'll be talking about everything that's going on in the past week, as well as and be mostly me filling Forte in on the things that have been going on, because he ain't been paying attention to anything. He's been busy trying to get his house stuff together, and I had to tell him today about half the stuff that's been going on. So clearly the man is out of the loop. I'll be informing him. We'll be all together informing him. So come through and check us out.
No doubt, no doubt. Definitely check out those gentlemen tomorrow night, 9 p.m. on Slow-Mo Channel. On that note, we are out. We'll see you this Saturday, actually, for another BRAP rant, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Definitely check that out. And then we'll be back next Wednesday for a regularly scheduled BRAP at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So on Wednesday. So everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll see you next time. We are out.